All right, well, I guess it's time to let the cat out of the bag. What you're looking at here is the announcement for Dream Diary Jam 2. This time it's personal. If you've been following the Fangame Bingo stream, you'll know that I've been encountering quite a lot of the entries of last year. And, well, I think it's about time that I sort of put my money where my mouse is, or whatever the expression is, because as followers of the channel will know, I've been working, or at least I've been saying that I've been working on stuff related to fan games and stuff for probably the last, 8 years, and pretty much nothing has came out of it. I intend to change that. So this is, I suppose, the official announcement for what is essentially a spiritual successor to an ancient effort of mine, which I'd like to dub Cursed Mansion. It's a working title. This will be a Yuminiki style tile sort of RPG engine that's all using web-based technology, so HTML5, Canvas, stuff like that. It's going to hopefully be an open source project, so if this thing gets to a point where it's workable and usable, then everyone else will be able to use this and develop on it, hack it, do whatever they feel like to it. And the idea is that this will be used to power the game that I will submit for the jam. So the jam starts technically on May the 15th, or May the 14th. Yeah, May the 15th says right here. I should probably read the fucking thing, actually. We got it here. May the 14th. And what I'm hoping to do is get the engine wrapped up before that point, and then everything else can continue. So to talk a little bit about the engine, it's based a little bit on the concept of a Pokemon style game that I built in .NET a very long time ago, which had very unsatisfactory performance. So I always had the idea of trying to rebuild it, and that has essentially morphed over time into becoming this more Yuminiki style walking experience thing. So some ideas about what kind of things to expect from this. So it'll all be web based, although there may well be an option to run it on your computer rather than running over the web. All of the technology on it is designed so that the generation of content is very fast, rather than spending a lot of time having to convert things and do all sorts of stuff and all, like, a lot of the editing things that take up a lot of time with generating games is going to be rolled into the engine as much as possible, so that it'll become clear when I demonstrate some more of it. But the idea is that it's quick to prototype and build concepts in it instead of making the content. It's also going to, with any success, be quite good in terms of performance. It should run well, certainly a lot better than the prior effort that I mentioned. It'll have a lot of scriptable things in it, so you'll be able to do some quite interesting scriptable activities. It's going to be built strongly on a lot of other sort of open source efforts, so it's to take the fantastic efforts of other people and build on them, but at the same time also at its core be quite unique. It's gonna be essentially the core engine is going to be from scratch, but there'll be some other things in there which rely on some open source projects. A big thing about it is it's going to try and have some ways of shifting your expectations about what a 2D RPG-esque engine can do, and certainly when you compare it to something like RPG Maker 2000, I want to sort of flip that on its head a little bit, but still make it the same sort of familiar sort of experience people are familiar with in the Yuminiki fangame world. And it's all going to be modern as much as possible. So in some ways it's also going to be a learning experience for me and get my archaic programming skills into order. There's some other nice to haves. I'd like it to work on mobile devices as well, but some of these things are probably... I'm already feeling like I'm committing to a pretty mammoth task, given that this fan game jam finishes on June the 26th, which is, at the time of recording this, is what, 2 months away? And that involves finishing the engine and then also finishing the game. So to make it clear, and I clarified this with eBeth on Twitter, as you can see here, if I could do this. The engine will be in development up until the point that the jam starts. And the idea is I'm going to build a proof of concept game in the engine as I build the engine. When I get to the point that the jam starts, that will be completely shelved, and from scratch a game will be built in the engine. And what I intend to do is to either stream or to record this in some fashion so that people can see that I'm being genuine. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm using this as like an early leg up or anything. I don't think that would be very fair. However, I do also need to make sure the game works in some way before I actually start, the engine works before I start building a game in it. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of ground to cover, but I'm hoping to make this, well, not a collaborative experience. I hope to at least demonstrate it to you all. I know that I've been talking about this for such a long time that this seems almost fantastical that I'm talking about actually making this a real thing, and also in such a tight time scale. But you know, sometimes that's what you need, a bit of a kick up the ass. I'm not going to show off everything about it. There's some things in it that I want to kind of keep a bit special, but the actual development of it, and particularly the making of some of the content and stuff, is things that I'm sure that I can do on a stream or two, or probably many. I mean, let's be honest, this is probably going to be a mammoth undertaking. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm planning to do. Hopefully this is something interesting to watch develop. Hopefully I'm not just going to make a complete arse of it, although what I've got already I think is quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to getting started on this. And yeah, hope you'll tune in and see how we get on.